I just found out about this really interesting new trend where single people, or even people that are married or whatever, people that want to have kids immediately are getting on these websites to meet other people that want to have kids, and then they're co-parents. So they're skipping the romance, they're skipping the dating.
Do they get to fuck though?
Wait, what?
Why does it sound familiar?
Well,
The question is, do they fuck?
Yeah, how are they getting these kids? From fucking?
so there's you could do that way, or they have like a lot of these websites. They have like resources for you to do like in vitro, like.
Oh, whack! At least get some pussy out of it.
If you want to do that. But pretty much what's happening, it's kind of like on dating websites, you know, you're looking for a potential partner, like for romance reasons.
Right.
But in these particular websites, they are only searching other people that, like, if you would be a good match as a parent.
That's so gross.
So would it be like...
It's like godparents.com? Like you can just help them raise their kid or
No.
what? I don't
So
know.
No, you get
it's
your
like,
own
okay,
kid.
Picture this.
Okay.
I'm single, you're single,
Okay.
and we both want to have a baby, and then we both have similar interests in how we want to raise our kid, and then we just decide to link up and be like, hey, you want to be a co-parent? We don't have to be in a relationship.
Oh, so you guys just bone, get pregnant, but nothing else in between?
Depending on the couple,
Or
but
adopt,
pretty much, yeah.
or...
I can see that
Oh,
one.
that sounds dope.
Do they live together, or is it like almost like a divorce?
So that's exactly how they describe it. It's kind of like, well, obviously
Divorce without the baggage.
Exactly. That's kind of how they're saying. Like a lot of people.
I want a
do
kid,
this.
but only sometimes. Take them half.
Kind of view it as like a divorce relationship. Like you just really want to bring a kid into the world, but you just don't want to waste the time of like finding someone, like falling in love, getting married, whatever. And then what if like you're just not romantically compatible, but you really want to bring a kid into the world now? And so they're going to these websites. Like some of these websites are called like CoParentscom.
They should call it comeandme.com.
You know, what it is it's basically, hey, do you want to go broke together? Is what it is. Because we're gonna have a little shithead wedding.
That's true.
Well, it's like I can imagine like someone that just got divorced, never had kids with that person, right? But then they're like maybe in the middle of the 30s, you know, and they're like, well, clock's kind of ticking. Like I gotta, if I want to have a baby, but to get into a new relationship, that could
takes time.
You know, it takes time to nurture the relationship, to get to marriage, to get to having a baby. So I could see how this works.
I really wonder how this works, like legally, like paper-wise, because if you wanted to adopt a child and you go into the adoption center and you're like, yeah, we're not together, we're just kind of want to do this together, how would that work?
Well, if they adopt, huh?
It seems, that's if they decide to go the adopt way. But they're saying that there are like married people on this site where, for example, like me and Casey, right? Like Casey really wants to have a kid and I don't. Then we have a discussion. He goes to this website. He finds someone that
Have sex with someone else.
Well, I don't know about that. But
That's why the whole in vitro. That's why in vitro.
it's a different website.
That's why in vitro makes sense, because then if you are married, you don't want the partner to have sex.
Yeah, and also interestingly enough, legally, the biological parents have custody of the kid, so I would not be legally in the picture, even though I'm married to him.
What if Casey was having sex with you, but right when he's about to bust, and he puts it in the other person?
That's true.
That's true.
What's so true about that?
Sure, Joe. No.
This seems like it can get messy because, like, what if...
It sounds like a legal nightmare.
Yeah, this sounds like a legal nightmare.
Because that could get messy. Like the cum's gonna spill everywhere. Like they're doing it, and
That's true.
That's true.
You're gonna pump it in. Like that's gonna get messy.
The concept's pretty cool though, where like if there's two people that just want to have kids together, and they're on the same page, and they don't want to have all the other romance and marriage like baggage or whatever.
That might make me come quicker too if I'm fucking somebody and a hot girl's watching me, and then at the last moment I gotta fucking time it to come in her.
I don't
That
think
also
that's...
It sounds harder, actually. I don't know.
That's true. Shit.
You gotta make sure she's ovulating and all that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, I can
Oh, it's a timing thing.
This might be like a legal nightmare because what if that happens and then Tiff's like, well, it's not my biological child, but I love that kid. I've raised it since I was a kid, you know, like, or since it was an infant. So that might get weird.
You attach to things too easily.
Yeah, fuck them babies.
Yeah, fuck another. Yeah, who cares about their?
So then there's people coming into this conversation and being like, wait, why don't you just have a kid by yourself then if you want one so bad?
Well, what are they gonna do? Jack off in their mouth?
Like I said, like go to a sperm donor, get a surrogate.
Get an adopted kid.
Yeah, but then people that are going this route, they're saying like, well, I want my child to grow up with 2 parents. Like, I don't want to be.
Damn, this motherfucker wants everything.
But will there be 2 parents if they're not living? I mean, are the co-parents gonna live together then?
Probably not.
Yeah, because you're basically you're creating a baby. Yeah, you're
That's
creating a
divorce
baby
law.
knowing that it's gonna be a broken home from the get-go.
Yeah.
There is no chance of having a.
It's like, oh, is it broken if it was never together?
It's an unbroken, broken home.
But it's a very. I mean, but thinking from the. So this is my.
Do you think our home is broken?
No, but it wasn't. It wasn't like it was. I don't know. Like, here's my thought process on that thing, which is it feels really selfish on the grown-ups' part.
It does.
They just want to. It's self-serving that they want a child, but then I'm thinking like, the kid's life and how they're gonna grow up.
10,
And
True, the routine is kind of what they need, and it's very unstable because you don't know whose house you're going to, what day.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, because like raising Isaac, it's like we hand him off. Yeah.
I mean, I guess it wouldn't be as bad because the other one would be like, you guys are trying to fight to figure out which days would work. But this one they agree before they even get the kid.
Yeah, before they even
True.
got the kid.
But no, this makes it feel like the kid is kind of a fucking accessory. Like,
Yes, and it feels weird.
Yeah, it's just like, well, I don't really want to. I just want a kid. You guys just want to make a fucking kid, you know? And then it's also like, kids. I'm actually kind of curious to see how anti-gay people who say, oh yeah, it's not a healthy family if it's 2 men or 2 women raising a kid. What if it's 2 people who don't have any feelings for each other or just separate 2 separate people, you know? Like, how would you feel about that? Would you rather have 2 strangers raise a kid or 2 people of the same sex that actually love each other?
That feels more of like the, I guess, not broken home, and then there's like an
Yeah.
actual household. Because it takes a team to raise a kid.
Yeah.
So that feels more like a team rather than like 2 outsourced teammates.
Exactly. And then it's
Yeah,
also
so-
like in school they're gonna be like, oh, we're gonna do projects on your parents, and this kid's gonna be like, oh, my parents are just 2 people. They don't love each other. They're just 2 people.
Well, yeah,
That's
that is
weird.
something that they point out in this article where, like, that would be the thing that the child misses out on is seeing the dynamics of a household, like,
loving couple.
a loving couple.
Well, a lot of kids grow up like that today.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking too. I'm like, well, there's like millions and millions and millions of homes that are already doing this with people. Actually, it's even worse because people that get divorced and they have a kid, like, they are not mostly
They hate each other.
terms. They actually, it's very toxic. They use the kid against each other. But at least in this situation, there's a mutual respect for each parent. And it's like, well, hey, we're just trying to make this thing happen. Let's fucking do this thing.
Something's gonna go bad along the line though, because like eventually
Plans change.
at
People
plans
change.
4-year-olds like, well, no, I want him in football.
Contractually obligated.
I don't know
You can't
because
even.
All contracts can be renegotiated.
what we think is a healthy or normal or what's supposed to be is just a
Yeah,
recent
different.
construct where this isn't how humans have been. Like, I recently watched this one travel vlogging food guy that goes to different like weird places, and like he was with a tribe and he was explaining how like this one tribe, the kid never is alone because the guy, so they can have multiple wives in this tribe, but also everyone takes care of everyone. So like, let's say not even the mom is breastfeeding the baby, right? And she goes, oh shit, I left the pot running, I gotta go handle that. She'll pass over the kid to another lady that would take care of the kid and then watch him for a little bit. And then so she's taking care of that, and then she'll be like, oh fuck, the goats, right? And then she'll pass to the next kid. But there's always someone there. And then if a baby starts crying, then anybody next to the baby, whether it be like chief leader, lady, guy, brother, they just pick the baby up and like, so then they have this feeling of comfort. I think that's more important than these rules. So like,
True.
Imagine if you come from a big family and everyone's there, then you grow up with a lot of support, right? Versus like, if you're extremely lonely and your parents always working, you can come from a family where there's 2 parents, but if they're constantly working and busy, you know, like which one's more healthier? And I think that our idea of this nuclear family, like mom, dad, kids in one household, I think that is a new thing. Like that isn't traditional. Traditionally, like there's been times with like in Europe where the way that the Vikings would live is everyone lived in one big ass long house. All the family members and friends and everybody of that tribe lived in that one house. And the crazy shit is they'll fuck in there, they'll eat in there, they'll do everything in the close quarters together.
That's what I was thinking. If the co-parents live together, that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be really
But
cool.
if it's like two people that are just individuals, and then now they're just passing, and there's like no real family, no real support, and they're just passing a kid back and forth.
Yeah, it's
Oh
like
my
it's like
God.
the same as going from daycare to daycare to daycare.
Because I think neglect is worse for the child than any other structure. Like you can have like 10 gay daddies, but I think that's even healthier than being a neglected child.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I do wonder like what's gonna happen. Like say one day along the lines, one parent starts dating someone, and then this parent's like, I don't like that guy. I don't like how he treats my kid. Like it's gonna get messy. You know, it's gonna be weird.
There's definitely a lot of unforeseeable like things that will definitely pop, because even in a nucleus family, right, the type of families that we're talking about that's like very traditional, like mom and dad are there, they're very, you know, they pay attention to the kids, but like life itself is going to throw some wrenches in there, and like you have to figure it out. And I just feel like this direction,
I don't know. I mean, I feel like that unforeseeable stuff is present no matter what. I wouldn't say it's more or less in any situation.
Yeah, because you got to think about the individual, right? What if they're two, like you said, older people who never had that time to develop the love and the traditional thing, right?
Yeah.
Let's say she's pushing mid-30s, he's in his 40s, and he's just like, I just want an intelligent, successful, like partner that maybe I don't want to get romantically involved with, but I know that she's good, she's genuine.
similar interests in parenting.
but I just want to come in her real quick, go to creampiehomies.com, you know? That's my site, creampiehomies.com.
I'm like, oh, you do?
That's scary though. Like if you think about, okay, so say a divorced couple. At one point, these two actually really loved each other. Imagine like now they're so shitty to each other because of a divorce. Even though they had the connection. Now imagine if something goes wrong with two people who never had that connection. That can get even worse.
I don't know about
Or
that
it's
because
easier.
I think it's without the baggage.
Yeah, there's no.
But there's no baggage.
When there's no baggage,
That mutual respect coming into the situation already with a understanding of like, this is where we're at. And I think I would prefer the latter.
because
Personally.
you always have respect. Well, it's easier because divorce is like you broke the respect and that's why you're going through the divorce, right? So like if you've always had respect from the beginning, it's kind of like, the way I see this is like an arranged marriage where two parents get together because their parents chose it, right? Their parents chose these two kids to get married. They didn't want to marry each other, but they have an obligation and they made an agreement. And sometimes they don't work, but sometimes they do work.
Sometimes they fall in love later too.
So yeah, you never know. And in this situation, it's like, how do we know, or how can we predict that it's gonna be not working? I feel like culture is constantly gonna change. The way that we see marriage today is not how our parents saw it, and it's gonna continuously change. So I think that when I hear things like this, we're just judging based off of what we think
know.
should happen.
What we've already seen. Yeah.
But it sounds kind of healthy to me.
That's what I said. I was like, that's tight. Like, find your solution.
Couldn't do it, Casey. She gave you the blessing.
all right, let's do it. So we're signing up?
Oh, we're signing up because I don't want a kid?
Oh yeah, right, okay. Forgot that fact.
The fact that I
Sorry,
also
you
want
led
a
me
baby.
down the wrong.
Me and Casey want kids together.
Oh right, yes.
We'll both
Wait,
sign up.
Yeah, they'll swipe right.
How's that work?
Fucking dock each other.
We gotta come each other's mouths or something.